Queens, we made it. Told y'all I was gonna keep y'all posted on the article. I was getting ready for the day and it just got sent to me. Reason why I'm El Natural. But we did it, y'all. Black Girl Train officially made NBC News. We up! I'm gonna post the link to the article if y'all wanna read. Check us out. Check me out. I love y'all. Without y'all, this wouldn't have been possible. This wouldn't have happened. I appreciate everyone that acknowledges me, that gives me my credit, that gives me the recognition, and just know that this is only the beginning. This is the third news article out of many. Y'all be blessed and have a great day.
Hi guys, this is my update from the assault that happened on me when I was driving for Uber. This is the very first report that I made that same day, 12/17/2022. As you can see, I'm the only victim, and at the bottom I was driving a 2022 Tesla. DPD was first on the scene. This was my first detective that was taking the case, and he told me since further in the investigation that it has to go to MSP because it happened on the freeway in their district. When I got to MSP and gave them my report, I showed them a picture of this man, the man that strangled me when I was begging for help, and they started to freak out. They told me to never come back to the police station or else. So DPD told me to go to MSP. MSP said they wasn't going to help me, so I called some important people and I did send out some certified mail. I tried to take this to the local news and they wouldn't take it. They told me that they called up to MSP and something went wrong up there. Come to find out, the man that was in my back seat wasn't even the man that ordered the Uber ride. This is the man that was in my back seat. I fought for my life up there on that bridge. I'm 5'5", 125 pounds. This man is 6 feet and 230 easy. I'm trying to spread awareness because nobody's helping, so I'm coming to the social media. Since I can't put it on the news and since I'm not getting any help from the local authorities, I need y'all help. Since this incident has happened, Uber tried to give me my job back, and I told them I don't want it because I'm not safe. They don't give background checks on their passengers, and they definitely do not protect us. We don't have any weapons or anything. They can get in our cars with anything. It doesn't matter what time I went out and did Uber. I've been doing Uber for 6 years. This man was definitely evil, and I need justice. I'm trying to spread awareness for any other drivers that are out there that haven't came forward. This is the time to do it now. Do not be quiet. You could lose your life. I could have lost.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here for Think About It Thursdays here on Conversations with Taz. Sorry, it has been a long day, but here we are. All righty. Remember the San Francisco art gallery owner that took a water hose to the homeless Black woman? We have an update coming from The Hill, San Francisco art gallery owner, film spraying homeless woman with hose has been arrested. Here are the highlights. Last week, San Francisco art gallery owner Shannon Collier Gwynn was allegedly filmed hosing down a homeless woman in front of his shop, sparking online outrage and vandalism of his storefront. Now Gwen is facing a misdemeanor battery charge for the alleged intentional and unlawful spraying of water on or around a woman experiencing homelessness. The alleged battery of an unhoused member of our community is completely unacceptable, said San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins. Now, we'll see if he's convicted. We will see if he's convicted, but that is a good start. We are headed in the right direction with that one. And I will never understand this stigma around homeless people. Like, you're upset with them because this society is set up for the top 1% to stay rich and everybody else to become poor. But I guess, y'all, I digress. Now, remember, there was a city in North Carolina where they didn't want a drag show to happen, so people vandalized the power grid at the beginning of winter. Schools had to be closed because there was no water, there was no anything. Guess what? It has happened again. No joke.
Another day in North Carolina where terrorists shot up a substation. The same North Carolina where the substation was shot up, and more where people went without their power in the winter, in freezing weather, and they didn't have water, so they had to shut down schools. This is not vandalism. This is terrorism. They were hoping to have the same effect like they had last time. This is terrorism. And the woman who claimed that she knew what was going on is friends with the sheriff. They still haven't arrested anybody from the first time. This is terrorism.
We are living in a society that behaves worse than toddlers that can't have a snack at bedtime. Your candidate doesn't win the election, storm the Capitol. You lose your election, hire hitmen and go shooting up houses. You don't like an event that you don't have to attend, shoot up the power grid. But critical thinking, non-white people, we're the problem. We're the drama. Yeah, that tracks. I wish I could say it gets better, but it doesn't. Remember Nazi Germany and how there were lists and registries and rosters to keep track of people? And at first it was touted as basically, I'm paraphrasing, census information. Then we found out it was just one big hit list in order for Nazi Germany to perpetuate genocide. Keep that in mind when you watch this regarding Governor DeSantis.
DeSantis has just packed the board of Florida's most progressive public college with hand-picked allies. He's aiming to turn New College into a conservative Christian school. These new board members include Chris Rufo, who's orchestrated the right-wing attack on critical race theory. And Rufo is straightforward about his goals. Quote, "We have successfully frozen their brand, critical race theory, into the public conversation and are steadily driving up negative perceptions. We will eventually turn it toxic as we put all of the various cultural insanities under that brand category." Meanwhile, professors at other Florida universities are canceling their courses dealing with race for fear of being fired. Today, the presidents of Florida's system of community and state colleges put out a joint statement declaring they stand with Governor DeSantis and won't let evil critical race theory invade their campuses. Also today, the State Board of Education finalized a rule that could see school librarians prosecuted for having undesirable books in their libraries. Undesirable to DeSantis and his allies. And in a final flourish, today we learned that DeSantis has rejected a high school advanced placement course in African American studies. The course is already being piloted in 60 schools across the country, but apparently in the state of Florida, that curriculum is against the law. The conservative National Review reported excitedly today on the letter the DeSantis administration sent to the College Board, which sets AP course curricula. That letter says, quote, "The content of this course is inexplicably contrary to Florida law and significantly lacks educational value." And it invites the College Board to, quote, "come back to the table with lawful, historically accurate content."
Well, hey there, y'all. So in today's It's None of Your Fucking Business news, y'all, this invasive species of asshole is Ron DeSantis, the Republican governor of Florida, seen here tossing away the rights of everyone except for white Christian Republicans. In the past several days, Ron has decided to stick his big nose into college business by first saying an AP African American Studies program lacks educational value. This is not a high school class. This is a college level class, advanced placement. This pilot class was launched in 60 different places across the country. Yet Florida is the only one that seems to think it lacks educational value. Because disenfranchising the black community just isn't enough for him, he has decided to take aim once again at the trans community. Ron's death sentence has now asked state universities for the number and ages of their students who sought gender dysphoria treatment, including sexual reassignment surgery and hormone prescriptions. There has been no explanation for why he is requesting this information or what he will do with it. This survey was released on the same day that the university presidents voted to support DeSantis' anti-woke agenda and reject the progressivist higher education indoctrination agenda. And these university presidents are committed to removing all woke positions and ideologies by February 1st. DeSantis' budget director, Chris Spencer, said, "Our office has learned that several state universities provide services to persons suffering from gender dysphoria. On behalf of the governor, I hereby request that you respond to the enclosed inquiries related to such services." Now, before everyone runs to my comments to write about HIPAA, let's go over what the American College Health Association has to say. Colleges and universities have an ethical and legal obligation to protect the privacy of our students, including their healthcare records. HIPAA doesn't cover students on campus. It only covers the non-students. But what does cover students is FERPA. FERPA is a federal law that protects the privacy of students' education records, including treatment records. In most college health settings, FERPA applies to care provided to students at our student health and counseling services. Under FERPA, treatment records by definition are not available to anyone other than professionals providing treatment to the student or to physicians, counselors, or other appropriate professionals of the student's choice. From what I gather, the universities may be able to release the numbers and maybe the ages, but they cannot release names. Florida college students receiving gender dysphoria care contact those providers on campus and refuse to release info.
You know, if you don't understand something and you choose not to educate yourself on it, that's fine. That is your business. But leave other people alone. Everybody else doesn't have to sit comfortably in ignorance because you choose to. How somebody else lives their life lawfully has no bearing on your life. The trans community existing does not take away from your existence. It does not endanger your existence. Because if we use the whole, I'm fearful, they shouldn't use this bathroom, they shouldn't be around children, they shouldn't be around us defense, do you know what would become illegal in this country very, very quickly? White people. White people. Because historically, none of us are safe around white people. And men. It just amazes me how bigots, homophobes and transphobes and just racist will go, well, under this administration, suicides went down because things are becoming more normalized within society that should have stayed normalized. Keyword here, stayed, because there were periods of time in history where things that folks are so uncomfortable with and want to argue against were a part of the status quo. But now you want to push people back into pretending to be something that they are not and push them into misery because you live a miserable fucking life and you want company. Here's some more information on the passport bro in Brazil. Let's go. I need a moment.
Let me tell you how men don't listen. Let me go, hey, be kind to women and treat them as human beings. Nowadays, you don't even really gotta have money. And you can get a girlfriend. And men go, that's too much. I'm gonna show you this clip before men have been saying, if these passport bros come to our country, we're gonna murk you. Straight up. You've been saying our women are promiscuous, we're poor, putting a bad light on our country and inviting others to be tourists. These bros in the DR and in Brazil have saying, hi, I'm fearing for my life. These men are threatening to murk me. I remember when that one man said, don't y'all know the rest of the world has internet? Y'all saying this stuff on the internet? Like the US is the only country with Wi-Fi.
It can only be transferred, so she can transfer the energy to me because she's really energized about nothing.
Look at her face.
Can I joke with you again? Can I joke with you again? Can I? Yeah? You gotta be ashamed of yourself.
Why would you talk to her like that?
I joked for you because you said that you didn't say anything, so I did it for you. Well, now that the camera's on, she doesn't want to laugh, but she was laughing a minute ago because she told me to come sit on the side of the booth with her.
Damn. Y'all not even treating them better. Where did this idea come from that foreign women are just doormats? Like, I don't know where that came from.
Now, keep in mind, this is the same passport bro that claimed that Brazilians didn't understand English, so they were misinterpreting his message. But women in the United States are the problem. See, this is why racial tropes are harmful and dangerous. People get it in their minds that certain races of women, whether inside the United States or in their countries of origin ancestrally, that they're going to be more docile, more easy to control. Why? Why are certain men so obsessed with controlling another person? You want control, but yet you want the woman to go 50-50 on everything. You want the woman to be your therapist. You want the woman to be your maid. You want the woman to be your caretaker, your hospice nurse, your personal chef, your personal shopper, your personal assistant. Like, that does not put you in control. You want to use your money to hold it over women's heads, but you don't want women to want you for your money. You want to be the breadwinner in the home and the head of the household, but you want her to split everything with you except for the duties of the house. She was most definitely trying to be polite. We all know that uncomfortable laugh where it's like, he won't leave me alone. Yes, you're funny. Because trust me, I've had to text many a friend, call me with an emergency, be outside. Like, No. Now, this next one has me shooketh. Because remember, when we were all kumbaya and just dancing our little asses off and doing cute transitions on TikTok, and we were Carol Baskins, killed her husband. Yeah, it's looking like maybe she didn't. So I guess we need a remix. We need a redo. Not sure what I'm talking about? I'll see you in 2 and 2. You know how we do.
Good morning, y'all. Guess what? Carol Baskin ex-husband, he's alive. At least that's what some sources are saying right now. Apparently in 2021, Carol Baskin actually made the assumption that the U.S. government had already located her husband and he was living in Costa Rica. She also claims that he left because he wanted to see if he could support himself and start a business. And when he left, he took about $1 million with him. Now, I read in actually quite a few articles, that said that when she tried to reclaim some of the money or most of the $1 million that had been taken, all she was able to get, or all that he had, was about $80,000. Everything else had been lost in bad investments. Now, for those of you who live under a rock and know absolutely nothing about this, there was a documentary that came out around 2020, 2019, somewhere around that time, called Tiger King. And inside Tiger King, there was this documentary about these people who own a tiger rescue thing. And yeah. Now, personally, I watched like 4 episodes, and y'all, it was the most boring thing on earth, so I just turned it off. But good thing for social media, so I got the gist of it. So apparently, she was married to some dude who disappeared, and everybody thought that she had killed him and fed him to the big cats. Now, there was a lot of extra stuff that went on in the show, like this dude here, who's like a gay cowboy country singer, big cat rescue person. In the show, he had 2 boyfriends. One of them wasn't even gay. Just to be messy, these were the 2 boyfriends. I gotta show you a better picture of him. Y'all, this is who Joe was slobbing down for crack. But at the end of whatever, he called a hit out on Carol Baskin. And yeah, to this day, he's in jail for that. Now, the documentary was meant to just be kind of a thing for the big cat rescue, but the people on Netflix, they kind of twisted it around and they made this sort of expose, which brought a lot of attention. Like, it really reopened up the investigation of her first husband. And apparently that wasn't even the purpose of the documentary when she signed on to be on it in the first place. A lot of big names are reported going to say that he is alive and he was found in Costa Rica. He just wanted to get away, I guess. I wonder who else is going to show up in Costa Rica.
Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Can't convince me that he didn't happen. Fed him to tigers, they snack him. What's happening? Carol Baskin.
Still not gonna let go of that bop. That's still gonna be my song, okay? Carol Baskins. Yeah. But anywho, first of all, why can't white people just get divorced? Okay, if y'all not trying to kill each other, y'all faking your own deaths and running to other countries. Like, you putting yourself in witness protection. You're doing your own wit sick. Like, white people, divorce is okay. Like, just go to divorce court, get it annulled. Okay, just decide we don't like each other anymore. Okay, you don't like me, no, I don't like you. You don't like me, nah. All right, sign them papers. Like, that's all you have to do. Or just do like black folks do. Just live separately till you die. Okay, death equals divorce. Okay, but do you all get the trend here with wealthy white men? He wanted to see if he could make it on his own business wise, but he took $1 million with him. Isn't it funny how all of these wealthy white men, when they talk about how they started their companies, they didn't pull themselves up from the bootstraps. They didn't have to go take out business loans. You went to Costa Rica. At least he wasn't a passport, bro. Or at least I hope he wasn't a passport, bro. Bad investments, my ass. How much you want to bet them bad investments was named Maya and Becky and Samantha? Got $80,000 left. Bro, even if you would have just put the money in the bank and let it sit, interest rates are a thing. And at that level of wealth, you're talking about a tiered interest rate system. Your money is making money for you. He was fucking all them girls in Costa Rica. he First of all, do y'all know I would have found the biggest Patrick Star rock to climb up underneath, and that's where I would have stayed. If a husband of mine faked his own death to get away from me, and he was the one that was the millionaire, like, bruh, it's your money. You could have just taken your money and left. Like, all of this. Y'all would have been like, where Taz at? And I don't know. I do not. Ever since that husband of hers faked his death, we ain't seen her. You wouldn't see hiding her hair. Ain't no way that you could ever do me. Like Carol Baskin's honey, sweetie, baby, boo-boo. Them finding him alive is worse than people thinking that you offed him, okay? Because we thought you was a savage bitch. We thought you was a bad bitch for that one, okay? Like, oh, your husband did you wrong and you fed him to the big cats. Go get it, girl. That's taking white women into a whole nother level. Now, don't feed none of us to the big cats, because we know how you white ladies like to do. Y'all like to feed people to, alligators, crocodiles, your family on Sunday after church at a picnic. You're not dealing with my messy ass. At least my mess is entertaining, okay? All right. Okay. Now, before we go on to the next juiciness of the show, because baby, I'm saving the thick of it all for the second half. Okay. Today was a rough day, and yesterday was a rough day, but y'all, I promise y'all, the folks that gather videos for me, they did the thing. So if you think Carol Baskin's story was messy, and I have a fresh blog coming for y'all tomorrow regarding pick-me's. And if you followed my blog, you know this is you're gonna get a chuckle and some education. He didn't really like the Tiger King, Mr. Rogers. I think he just didn't like her. I think he just didn't like her, and he didn't want to give her none of his money. But she ended up with the most of the money because he only took $1 million, and I can't remember how many millions he was worth, but he was worth quite a few before he went to be poor in Costa Rica. But let's go to the ad, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna get into the thick of it. Into the thick of it.
was known as Opelika's Jane Doe for over a decade, but now we know her name, Amor Jovea Wiggins. This heartbreaking crime happened in my neck of the woods, and it's a story that many of us in the community will never forget. It's still open, and police are still seeking information from family and friends. This is after a break in the case led them to Lamar Vickerstaff Jr. and Ruth Vickerstaff. These two, Amor's father and stepmother, are alleged to be responsible for Amor's tragic death. On January 28, 2012, Amor's remains were found in the woods along a creek bank. Her hair and a long-sleeved pink shirt with heart buttons and ruffles were also found. Her remains were found with over 15 different fractures due to blunt force, some of which had healed by the time of her passing. This happened near a mobile home in the Brookhaven Trailer Park in Opelika, Alabama. Forensics also revealed that her left eye was scarred and blind, and that she suffered abuse, neglect, and malnourishment. Evidence also suggested that what happened to her was likely between 2010 and 2011, placing her between the ages of 4 and 7. Isotope testing in the investigation revealed that she was either born and lived in Alabama or a nearby southeastern state, and that she was potentially linked to the Orlando, Florida area. Police released a clay facial reconstruction image that prompted members of the nearby Greater Peace Baptist Church to come forward. Some members said that they had seen her but didn't know her name or her family. One member in 2016 said that she recognized Amor. She also didn't know her name, but she distinctly remembered her attending their vacation Bible school, and how Amor had trouble communicating with the other kids as well as being slightly unkempt. A few images were found by police that potentially corroborated Amor to being at the Vacation Bible School in 2011. These images were eerily similar to the description that they had. Opelika police continue to update their photos over time, usually working with national organizations, one of them being the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Over the last decade, Opelika police have been given thousands of tips and over 15,000 files to sort through. This led them to investigate in other states outside of Alabama. Numerous states were involved, such as Maryland, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, and others. In January of 2022, advancements were made in genealogical tracing. This opened the door for unique DNA testing. Similar methods have been used for the Golden State Killer and the Boy in the Box. In October of 2022, they were able to identify Lamar Vickerstaff Jr. as the father of Amor, as well as link Ruth Vickerstaff as her stepmom. Born in Opelika, Lamar eventually joined the Navy. This led him to stay in places like Honolulu, Hawaii, Norfolk, Virginia, and Jacksonville, Florida. In January of 2006, Sherry Wiggins had Amor with Lamar in Norfolk, Virginia. She lost custody of Amor in a Virginia court and visitation was suspended. She began child support for Amor in 2009 and continued to pay into 2023. She was completely unaware that her child was missing or that anything had happened to her. And she never knew that Amor was never enrolled in school. In late 2022, police were led to Sherry, who was found in Maryland. This was thanks to the same method of DNA tracing used to find Amor's father. Through investigative work and questioning, police were led to Lamar and Ruth in Jacksonville, Florida. They were arrested on January 17, 2023. Lamar was charged for felony murder. Ruth was charged with failure to report a missing child. Police also potentially found additional evidence, and it appears that it was either near or at the mobile home close to where Amor was found. The two are being extradited from Jacksonville, Florida back to Opelika, Alabama. The case is still open and police still need more information from family and friends. Not just on Amor, but her parents as well. This case truly needs people to step up and do the right thing. And it needs to be spread for more awareness so people can have the opportunity to do so. Amor was robbed of her chance at life. And maybe now she can get the memorial that she deserves. Even more so, justice needs to be served on her behalf. If you have any information, please reach out to Opelika Police Department's Detective Division or their secret witness hotline. Tips can be anonymous. And like I said before, if there is any time to do the right thing, it's now.
What I will never, ever, ever, ever understand are the people who fight to get custody of children just to abuse them. Like, that is a sickness that is unexplainable to me. Like, he fought. Like, you obviously did not want this child. Your current mate did not want this child. Her mother did. You fought to take this child away from her mother, to murder her and just move along. I hope she's haunting you every day of your existence. I hope that your purgatory is just being trapped in the abyss, surrounded by her voice, by her face, by her scent. But before I get a community guidelines violation, because y'all know I'm good for that. Okay, y'all remember the cop gone wild down in Tennessee? Right yonder underneath me, where she was doing the naked hokey pokey and turning herself around for all the black men's in the police department. Now I'm pointing out that they were black men's predominantly that she was doing the hokey pokey for. Y'all ain't gonna believe who she married to, and y'all not gonna believe y'all know that audio on TikTok where it's like, he's a good man. He's a good man. Somebody must be whispering in this man's ear. Talking about, she's a good woman. Stick by you. She was sucking and fucking everybody but you, my guy. On the clock. In hotel rooms. In locker rooms. In cars. And my thing is, why are folks marrying people that they're not attracted to? Especially when both y'all broke. So you can't even say you did it for the money or the benefits. But let's roll it.
Now, y'all recall the Laverne Police Department in Tennessee where the 5 officers were fired and 3 were suspended after this sex misconduct probe. Well, the husband of the Tennessee cop gone wild, Megan Hall, says he's going to stand by his wife and he's going to try to salvage their marriage, apparently. All the while, after she was fired for having sex romps with several colleagues. But I understand what the good book says, that for better or for worse. But yeah, I don't. You're a good one. You're a better man than me. And the memes have just been damn near hilarious, to say the least. Case in point, former LaGrange, Tennessee officer has a new job, apparently, merely days after being terminated from her police force. She will now be the head of security for Auburn University, head of the football coach, Hugh Freeze, and his assistant. Y'all wrong for this. But like I said, man, y'all wrong. Y'all so wrong. I guess I'm wrong for posting this. Y'all wrong, man. Y'all ain't right. My advice to the husband, man, I just couldn't kiss my wife. Just saying. Anyway, carry on.
Stand by your hoe. Stand by your hoe. Ain't no way. And the amount of white people coming out to defend her, going, they're plastering her face all over the place. What about the other people? They've been exposed also. They've been fired also. Their faces and names are out there also. This woman initiated it. That's the part of the story that white folks are ignoring. She started sending sexy pics. And I'm using the word sexy, and that's it. But y'all know what I'm talking about. And videos of herself to people that she was working with, like, don't you want some of this? Don't you wish your girlfriend was like me? Don't you? Like, what the hell? And like, they're kink shaming her. Nobody's kink shaming her. If you like orgies, okay? If you want to be polyamorous, be polyamorous. We're just like, bitch, you supposed to be protecting and serving out here in these streets. What crime are you solving by cocking everybody all damn night? And then you meeting up with husbands and wives, just bust it, damn. Like, what the hell? Girl, when we said that everybody should have a pin cushion in the house, that wasn't what we was talking about. Lord. Like it, and do not let me find out he's working a minimum wage job and he's sticking with her because she's the one that's carrying the health insurance and he don't want to move out the house. Baby, it's a no for me. It's a no for me. What the? Because if it was a male officer, that was busting down every woman in the police station, wouldn't nobody be coming to his defense? I'm like, you put his face out there. Everybody be like, yep, we need to know. We need to know. And now for all y'all that was like, well, it's just going to be hard for her to get a job. No, it's not, because men are nasty. Men are nasty. Okay. And then you're going to put her on a college campus. She gonna have 20-piece boneless McNuggets all up in her system every 45 minutes to an hour. She is gonna be serving more than McDonald's, okay? I bet you her customer service is on par with Chick-fil-A. I bet you. Dude, I wonder if she gives coupons. Does she have, like, rewards cards, like a little punch card, like if you come back 10 times, you get a little extra, something a little special? Like, do you know how devastated I would be to find out my mate is kissing me with semen milkshake lips and going off to work and getting paid to fuck? And I didn't sign, and they don't work in the porn industry. They are not a sex worker. Well, I guess she was. I guess she was. See, cops don't win from propositioning people at traffic stops and, oh, I won't write this ticket for you if you give me a little head, to just doing it with each. Lord, look, I know cops have affairs with each other all the time, but y'all not supposed to be doing it on the clock. Like, y'all know y'all got body cams, right? You have cruiser no, because y'all be killing us with them body cams on and the cruiser cams on. Like, were y'all going back and retrieving the body cam footage as your own little, like, sex tape? I bet y'all was selling it on Pornhub. Everybody sell everything on Pornhub. Pornhub is the Amazon of sex. I got all the questions. I really do. Oh yes, I know that most cops get picked up by another municipality like that, or they get into security jobs. They start working in schools. That's what I'm like. Is there an OnlyFans channel called Body Cams Gone Wild? Like, what the fuck? Like I have a client that from time to time I have to go on site to this client. I know there's cameras all over the place. First of all, I was the one to install them. I am skeptical, very skeptical of even opening a snack on their premises. Just a snack, okay? Because your girl, she likes snacks, all right? I'm not going to be up there like, Lord, they taking Big Brother to a whole nother level. They taking reality TV to a whole nother. But y'all ain't gonna believe me when I say that ain't the craziest thing that I got to tell y'all about tonight. It's not. It is not. It is not. I told y'all we going into the thick of it. Yeah. Let me paint a picture. Let me borrow from the Golden Girls right now and the illustrious Sophia Petrillo. Picture it. End of 2022. White man kills entire family and kills himself, and the community comes together to give him a glowing obituary. Sounds like something off the Hallmark Channel or Lifetime, right? Lifetime Movie Network. It's not. It's real life. No joke. No bullshit. No cap. Take a look.
About white privilege is Oktoberfest.
So if you were to look at this, would you look at this and think this is a man who just unalived his entire family and then himself? When you read this glowing 2-page document about his life, where they actually have the audacity to where he said Michael made it a point to spend quality time with each and every one of his children. He enjoyed making memories with the family. He spent many evenings and Saturdays coaching the Children's City League sporting teams. And then the comments. It's just comment after comment after comment where people just have these wonderful things to say about him. Oh, but it gets even weirder. The victim's family has a GoFundMe. So you can see everyone in this picture was unalived by the person who has now been photoshopped with the image of Jesus Christ. That is the image they chose to put over him.
I mean, no disrespect with this, but he didn't enjoy making memories with his family. He enjoyed making a memory of his family. Now, coming from the New York Post, Michael Haidt was investigated for child abuse years before killing family self in alleged Utah murder suicide. Yep, Utah. Only fucked up shit comes out of Utah. A Utah man accused of killing his entire family before turning the gun on himself has been investigated by authorities 2 years earlier for child abuse, but was never charged, according to records released Tuesday. Police records obtained by the Associated Press revealed Michael Haidt's violent history, which included an investigation into alleged abuse. Authorities knew of the 42-year-old's aggression 2 years before he opened fire on January 4th, killing his wife, Tasha Hout, 40, their 3 daughters, aged 17, 12, and 7, and 2 sons, ages 7 and 4, but never charged the father of 5. There's more. Coming from The Guardian. Newspaper deletes glowing obituary of Utah man accused of killing his family. Obit made no mention that Michael Haidt shot his estranged wife, their 5 children, and his mother-in-law before killing himself. Once again, white people, you can just get a divorce. You can just get a divorce. A Utah newspaper apologized after publishing a glowing obituary of a man accused of killing 7 members of his family in a murder-suicide. The piece was also deleted. On January 4th, Michael Haught of Utah, 42, shot his estranged wife, Tasha Haught, 40, their 5 children, aged 4 to 17, and Haught's mother-in-law, Gail Earl, 78. Haught then shot himself, police said. Of course, because the coward's going to do what a coward's going to do. But an obituary published in the Spectrum on January 11th made no mention of the killings and described Haught as a loving father and businessman, NBC News reported. The obituary said Haught made it a point to spend quality time with each and every one of his children, coached his children's sports teams, and attended concerts and went sledding, Desert News said. Yeah, he slid himself straight to hell. Amid online anger, Shannon Watts, founder of anti-gun violence group Moms Demand Action, posted screenshots of the obituary on Twitter. Grotesque, one user commented. This guy is a murderer. End of point, another wrote. Watts called out a GoFundMe page that featured an image of the Haught family photoshopped to include Jesus in place of Michael Haught. The Spectrum apologized for running the positive obituary, adding that such columns were written and submitted by funeral homes. Obituaries may be written and submitted by funeral homes, as was the case here. Who the fuck wrote his obituary? Let me guess. He must have an emotional, incestuous relationship with his mother. Who wrote that? Who wrote that obituary? We're not going to put this on a funeral home because they knew the circumstances when the coroner called them to come pick up the body. Who wrote this? Who? This is no different than motherfuckers getting online, hashtag free my cousin Bubba, and having all these t-shirts. And y'all know, Bubba been running drugs for 25 years and then shot up 67 houses and finally caught 3 bodies. Go to hell. Go directly to hell. Do not collect $200. Who wrote that obituary? And I couldn't find a glowing obituary for the people he killed. But you know, Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy still have crazy sycophants to this day, and people want to buy Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy merch along with Manson merch. So, you know, there's always some white woman with 67 cats that thinks this shit is just a mild misunderstanding. Like the woman who forgave the man who murdered her entire family. He got out of prison and then murdered her. Like, what did you think was going to happen, Susan? No, I can't say that here. I can't say that. Let's get updated on George Santos or Anthony DeValder, whatever the fuck his name is. Okay. And just so y'all know, the person who released the photos of him as a drag queen and stated that he was participating in beauty pageants in Brazil went on to News Nation tonight and doubled down and said, yes, that is him. He's going to try to lie and say that it's not him. Yes, he was a drag queen for several years. Bada bing, bada boom. But here's the update.
15 things that George Santos has allegedly lied about. Number 1, his name. Who is Anthony DeVolder? I have no idea, but this is a pseudonym that George Santos has been caught using all the time. Just this week, one of Santos's ex-roommates who's lived with him for years said this to CNN.
I've never known him as George Santos. I've always known him as Anthony DeVolder.
It's not clear if this is a legal name or not, but he uses different names depending on the crowd.
Him being Jewish. After posting about his Jewish heritage on the official campaign site, multiple genealogy sites and obituaries prove that there's no evidence of this. When confronted in response, he lied again, saying that he never said he was Jewish, then mentioned something about his grandmother saying that she was Jewish, so he's basically Jew-ish. Which leads us to his grandparents surviving the Holocaust.
The first line of Santos's now edited campaign bio page says George's grandparents fled Jewish persecution in Ukraine, settled in Belgium, and again fled persecution during World War II.
Again, lies. Forward Media found that George Santos' grandparents were born in Brazil way before Nazis even took power in Germany. His mother dying on 9/11. In 2021, Santos claimed that his mother died in the 9/11 attacks in a response to a tweet to someone he was arguing with. 5 months later, Santos tweeted again about the death anniversary of his mom, and he claims that she died in 2016 due to cancer. Her obituary also says she died in 2016. Him being a Wall Street mogul.
In a lie that he's actually sorta admitted to, Santos once claimed he worked for Wall Street companies like Citigroup and Goldman Sachs.
Neither company could confirm his employment. Him being a real estate mogul. Santos once claimed that he owns 13 properties in Brazil, and during the pandemic, relieved his tenants of rent.
There are no records of Santos owning these properties. In fact, he faced an eviction suit after failing to pay his own rent.
Him being married. The openly gay Republican congressman also hid his divorce in 2019 to a woman just a week and a bit before his campaign began, records show. Him having a brain tumor.
I also battled a brain tumor a couple of years ago, and I had radiation done.
When the Gothamist reached out to him and his staff for comment, they provided no comment or records of his diagnosis.
Him being one of the first people to get COVID. On that same show, Santos said he was one of the first people in the US to get COVID-19.
He even brought in the cancer lie to say that the pandemic response was overblown, and he claimed that he was more vulnerable to the virus because he underwent radiation.
Santos's multiple retellings of this instance have varied greatly. His prestigious education.
Santos also claimed that he graduated with degrees from the prestigious Baruch College and NYU, but both schools have no records of this.
Him allegedly grifting a homeless man.
Just this week, Santos came under fire after allegations of stealing $3,000 from a homeless disabled veteran raising money for his dog, after Santos claimed to be the organizer of a pet charity under the name Anthony DeVolder.
After raising $3,000 on a GoFundMe page for the cancer-stricken dog, the link suddenly disappeared. He stopped answering my calls and texts, the man said. The dog died shortly after. Him working at a company accused of operating a Ponzi scheme. While Santos lied about working on Wall Street, one thing he didn't disclose is that he worked for a Florida-based company that's currently under investigation for operating a Ponzi scheme.
Harbor City Capital reportedly hired Santos in 2020 to help bring in investments. They were then sued by the SEC for operating a Ponzi scheme, court reports show.
His criminal charges.
Brazilian prosecutors have just reopened a 2010 case that accuses Santos of using a stolen pocketbook and forging checks to buy things. While the judge agreed on fraud charges, he already had left Brazil for the US.
Him losing employees at the Pulse
nightclub shooting. After being elected, Santos said publicly that he lost 4 employees in the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando that saw 49 people killed. Investigation by the New York Times and multiple people impacted by the shooting, so there's no trace of Santos connected to the incident at the LGBTQ club. Him impersonating a Trump supporter under a fake name. Just this week, video journalist Sandy Batcham shared a 2019 video of Santos introducing himself as Anthony DeVolder at a MAGA rally in New York City. He's seen holding the Confederate flag and flashing a white power sign while arguing with other pro-Trumpers. He said he's one of the organizers of this United for Trump rally, alongside charged insurrectionist Brandon Stryka of Walkaway. Excuse me. As always, check the links in the description of this video. Yeah, he's just the embodiment of the GOP. We had a whole 4 years of a president that did nothing but lie, and people lied to cover his lies. But from one major liar to a minor liar, Byron Donalds is at it again. And as there certain members of the GOP, you know, the Trumplicans, their campaign to kind of boost Trump's popularity seems to be working, because in current polling, it seems that he's becoming more popular than DeSantis, but DeSantis is taking some extreme steps instead of just leaving them as talking points. As I keep telling you all, some of these things that the GOP are upset about are supposed to remain talking points. They're not supposed to come to fruition because they know it's going to affect, excuse me, their livelihood and family members and friends that they have, that they don't want you to know that they have. They just want to stir the pot in order to fatten their wallets. But let's take a look at what old Byron is lying about again. Byron!
Yeah, Byron, he's still hopelessly confused, bless his heart. They're trying to spoon feed it to him, but he still can't get there. Right neighborhood, Byron, wrong address.
Had no problem raiding Mar-a-Lago. But let's go back even before the Mar-a-Lago raid. Donald Trump's attorneys was in negotiations, in talks with the National Archives. They were well aware of what was happening at Mar-a-Lago. So why the FBI raid? You compare that to what's happened with Joe Biden at his residence, where yes, the FBI was there, but Merrick Garland didn't do his job at making sure that they were running the search and investigation to make sure everything was found and secured. Third question, did Joe Biden's attorneys, do they have security clearance to handle these documents and continue that search? That's a major question as well.
Yeah, well, but going back to Mar-a-Lago, those negotiations had gone on for more than a year between the Department of Justice, the Trump organization, or not the Trump organization, but the president's post-presidential organization, and the National Archives and Records Administration. But at some point, President Trump's attorneys told those entities that all of the documents had been handed over, when that wasn't the case, which is what prompted the raid. So in terms of the differences here, there do seem to be some, but you believe that there is still a double standard here in terms of...
He's not lost. He's not misunderstanding. He's flat out lying. He thinks that he will get a seat at the table and he will gain power and generational wealth by licking the boots of Trump. And I'm tired of them calling it a raid. The FBI acted on and executed a legal search warrant. It's not a raid. He wasn't swatted. Don't you notice the terminology that is used when it comes to people like Trump and Andrew Tate and everything else to center them as the victim? Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Well, as always, thank you for joining me over here on Conversations with Taz. Don't forget, tomorrow's Freeform Friday, and we start a half hour early. Excuse me. And the first Saturday in February, we will be getting back to Childhood Rewind, and we will continue our Saturday night viewing parties, and we will be picking up with the animated version of the Count of Monte Cristo. So yeah, it'll be a good time. If you like anime, then just come on over and give us a buzz. And if you have any suggestions or requests, always hit me up on Instagram or email me at asktaz77@gmail.com, and we'll get you in the roster. So yeah. And I get what? Okay. All right. Okay, sis. Okay. I guess when we wrap here, y'all can check me out live on TikTok. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but she is essentially bullying me into going live with her. So got one last video because Black girls rock.
Go ahead. Sorry, but on questions that you should be able to answer here that shouldn't have to go to any other agency or entity, can you tell us if there's any sort of assessment that has been planned or launched to determine if national security has been jeopardized at all? Again, that's for the Department of Justice. Why is it a DOJ question? And let's be clear, it's not your decision to make of what I can or can't answer from here.
When I saw this look, I already knew what was coming next because I know Black women. And I'm going to keep it real. What she really meant was, don't come for me, ho, unless I send for you.